Welcome to your magic moon message. This is the peace dealer. The moon is in Scorpio, the sun is in Virgo, and we are activating the transformation of our behavioral patterns. Okay, so of course, the activation cycle of the sun and moon is going to be from 0 to 90 degrees. With the new moon in Virgo, we did 0 to 30 degrees. With the moon in Libra, we've done 30 to 60 degrees. And now from the moon in Scorpio to Sag, we're doing 60 to 90. 60 to 90 degrees, whereas 0 degrees is activation, 30 degrees is manifestation, Aries and Taurus. 60 degrees is Gemini, 60 to 90, where 90 is Cancer or the signature. And that 60 to 90 degree range is expression. So we've activated the perspective. We've manifested the direction and balance to add potency to how we're behaving. And then we are going to express the strengthened quality of this through wisdom. Virgo is analytical. Scorpio is psychoanalytical. So now this physiological analysis of how we are going to begin to do this. For example, ever since the transit started, I've been popping a run, right? And after this, I'm gonna run back, so I get my daily run in, right? This is going to now take the analytical understanding that through Libra we had directed, and it's going to, through that balance, bring us now deeper into a psychological, psychoanalytical understanding that will now give us the sauce and help us understand more intangible psychological facets of our habits and patterns that through this understanding will activate not only the deeper expression of how this is going to strengthen in quality, but because Scorpio is transformation, it's activating this beginning of transforming our habits so that we will, by the moon going into Sagittarius, begin to see them change. So for example, I've kept my routine pretty light. I'm using this week to pretty much just square out how I want to really approach and attack this and how I want to stay consistent every day, give or take. Probably relative with maybe a couple cheat days here and there, but I made sure every day I at least kept one facet consistent. Namely, I'm gonna pop my short jog and run. Once the moon now starts to integrate and we go into the moon in Sagittarius through the full moon, I'm going to now add and increase difficulty and intensity to my routine. And then of course, stick to it so much more consistently. However you do this really is up to you, but I'm just giving you my real experience in case you also resonate with that and are experiencing a like way. I'm saying this just in case you feel like maybe you slipped up already or maybe you're not doing enough. It's not really about doing enough because we're planting seeds right now versus just maintaining some level of consistency and being willing to do something every day, especially as is aligned with what you feel you're meant to do and how that shapes your beliefs and the beliefs around you. All right. I had a crazy morning this morning. I think just ridiculous tech glitches amongst other things, but also reinforced support. Shout out to Forest Fairy Tarot and the reading we did earlier. And just, knowing that we all got the right people in our corner, and there might be concerted effort to stop you from what you're doing, especially with forces that have seen what you're going to achieve and maybe see how your accomplishments may get in the way of their leverage over you or their plans for you or their vision of you or how maybe they're threatened of you. I don't want to make this a us versus them kind of thing. I'm just going to be using this languaging to give you an analogy and concept. But regardless, the best is definitely yet to come. And this is really now where we're really going to come into the sauce of how deep your bag goes. Okay. It's also, now that we've manifested the potency of these new techniques, it's going to be revealing hidden and secret wisdom relative to a much deeper understanding. And I think you can look forward to mind-blowing synchronicities, like mind-blowing confirmations and revelations that help you sit deeper in the confidence of really owning who you are, what you have, and now what more you could do with it, and most importantly, how. You're activating how to actually present this before next week, where we're going to integrate full performance and control of this. So Moon and Sag, we're going to see it. Moon and Cap, now that we've seen how this works, we're going to control it and use it. And then Moon and Aqua, we're going to come into a higher knowledge of how to advance our utilization of it, which is going to change how we believe everything with full moon. So look forward to that. Now with the moon in Scorpio, allow yourself to be guided psychoanalytically, especially as the moon is going to trine Jupiter in Cancer, not before it's squared in Libra, so that we can gain our balance, so that we're not expressing too much feelings, but we're not expressing enough feelings, right? Now that we've balanced this, we can fully express this expansion and evolution of your psychic phenomena or potential. And it's a transit like this that's going to really reveal to you how much you've leveled up your psychic abilities, or at least your receptivity, your quality and capacity to feel and be empathic. And I mean, none of this really has to do with being emotional, because this is the power of your psyche. So it's just going to create much sharper fluidity as far as maybe thinking quicker, noticing things quicker, having quicker instincts, right? And outside of that, because of course we have Pluto in Aquarius, the moon is completing its 270-degree journey since the last like 28 days, when we had the conjunction of the moon to Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, as we go deeper psychologically, this can bring up vulnerabilities, especially in the way that others will try to project them on you in order to narrate how you should feel about what you're experiencing, which is a very subtle way. Maybe a collective unconscious or a collective conscious influence can trick you into believing thoughts and feelings that are not exclusively yours. And whether through some element of peer pressure, almost like creating this like fake illusion so that they can't make you do it, but if they can manipulate your environment, whether psychologically, whether through auditory or visual hallucinations, then you're going to do it for them. And let me be clear, no one is making you have auditory or visual hallucinations. But if you are experiencing elements of that, you want to look at it as like the beginnings of you, of course, changing your brain chemistry, rewiring your brain, learning new languages, which rewire your brain. And it, like a seed growing through the ground, which might get dirt through the place and initially be a bit dirty, the process of expanding the power of your psyche and expanding your abilities might actually feel rough, like not schizophrenia, but like hallucinations, like hearing and seeing things that aren't there. You're interfacing with your mind in a way that you've never really done before. And as this expands, it brings from this unconscious space unresolved trauma, unresolved, fears, unresolved emotions that with, a myriad of frequencies you're learning to balance could express itself in, these ways that could seem like you're becoming, inducing psychosis or feeling a little crazy or falling back into certain habits and patterns, which is really just your own way of understanding and returning to that place in an effort to realistically now fully break through from it all. Damn, I'm really spitting. Like I literally spit. Okay, that being said, all right. Whew. Relative to this, once again, by the time we start the new cycle next year, come into the end of the decade, what kind of felt rough like this is going to be smooth. It's going to be smooth. You're going to have more literature and language and ability to put this into words. But a lot of this is testing your faith in yourself. With Saturn going back into Pisces, with the North Node in Pisces, with Neptune at the beginning of Aries, a lot of this is helping you reimagine who you've always seen yourself to be, right? Who you've been told you classify as, how rhetoric and theoretical models might have put you within the box of a worldview and understanding, and Neptune has been transcending you outside of that. That's going to feel delusional. That's going to feel like you're going against everything that you've been taught and is colloquially accepted in the society and world around you. And you want to have fun with the way you play with that. Align with that, break it, go against it. Whether you're a hero that protects status quo or you're a villain that fights against it, anti-hero, anti-villain, you transcend all these labels anyway. So this is going to really, as you are going through this process, not only shift the orientation around how you tap more into your core and who you are, but like we said before, activate a very intense transformation of your behaviors by giving you a psychoanalytical understanding of how you are beginning to express analytical awareness of your habits, which will add more depth, intensity, and specificity towards what techniques you're activating. So by the time the moon is done in Scorpio, you will have finished activating these new techniques so that when the moon is in Sag, you'll see what they look like. That's why moving forward, this is about to be like ridiculous. All right. And through that, if Virgo is precision, look at that, jackpot, 777. I've been seeing that number too much. Whereas Virgo is precision, Scorpio is that stinger tail, specificity. I had to learn this through experience. Like Virgo stays on point. Virgo will be very on point and precise with how be kind. I like that. With how, of course, they can perceive what's happening. And Scorpio is precise, followed by Sagittarius of the arrow that hits the dot, the bullseye. So I learned that Virgo is precise, Scorpio specific, especially when you get readings from them, especially when they share their abilities, they could be like too on point. And that's where now this precision you've activated relative to mastering certain habits you have, Scorpio is going to refine that. It's going to activate more specific understanding of what you're activating and how. Okay, so for those of you practicing law of assumption, just keep at it. You're going to continue to be experiencing real breakthrough. And as we really kick in the moon in Sagittarius Cancer signature and start integrating this transit and the seed breaks through the ground, you're going to see what you've planted and how we're going to start to go turbo. Okay, so you guys stay blessed as always. Comment down below what you're grateful for, what you've been breaking through. I hope you enjoy this moon in Scorpio, and until next time, peace.